Hi, Jim here, and this is The Honest Filmmaker. I'm going to tell you what FilmHub is and why you should use it to distribute your film. I'm Jim, I've made features and shorts, I've got a couple of films on FilmHub, and I've also gone down the traditional sales agent distributor route. A lot of the videos and podcast episodes end up talking about platforms like FilmHub, so I thought it'd be good to go back, explain the basics of FilmHub, what it is, what it does, and when you should use it. If you are seriously considering self-distribution, then I would definitely check out some other episodes of the podcast. There's a good one with Jason Horton, who knows his stuff about FilmHub. There's good conversations with filmmakers like Justin Milton, who is really good at using Tubi to reach a big audience and actually make some profit. So what is FilmHub? FilmHub is an online film distribution platform that helps filmmakers get their movies onto streaming services and digital storefronts without needing a traditional distributor. So in the past, what you would have to do is you'd have to go to a sales agent or a distributor direct, take your film to them. If it was a sales agent, the sales agent would then sell that film territory by territory. They'd probably take a cut for marketing expenses, legal fees, any other fees, market fees, off of the money that you make on the film, before then taking a percentage and giving you the remainder. With a distributor, you probably have an outright buyout on a particular territory for a particular amount of time. So for example, they might say, I'm going to buy UK off you for so many £1,000s for so many years. Now FilmHub flips that a little bit. What FilmHub does is allows you to upload your film onto the platform and then offers it out to lots of different streaming platforms for them to then put on. So what FilmHub is, in simple terms, is an aggregator. It's a middleman between you and the platforms. Platforms like Tubi, Roku, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, Plex, Vudu, Google TV, and international streaming platforms. And I can tell you what FilmHub is not, and that is a sales agent, a distributor, a marketing company, or any kind of guaranteed revenue. How does FilmHub work? So it's a very simple process. You upload your film, you upload your artwork, your poster, you upload your trailer, your synopsis, you give it some metadata, then you submit the film to FilmHub. Takes maybe 2-3 weeks. They look at all that information, check it's all in order, and then your film gets offered out to lots of different platforms. You're not guaranteed any platforms are definitely going to say yes, so really it's up to those platforms as to whether they pick your movie up. Those platforms have 3 primary types. 1, AVOD. So this is a free streaming platform that comes with adverts. TVOD, which is a platform where you can rent or buy your film, and SVOD, which is a subscription-based platform. FilmHub will then track revenue and views, it will take a 20% cut, and then you'll get the rest. What kind of films work best on FilmHub? So this would be genre films, like horror, thriller, action, clear niche audiences. It needs to be professionally packaged, or potentially documentaries do quite well. It's not really for short films, experimental films, and obviously you've got to make sure you've got the right clearance on all of the shots, the people, the locations, absolutely everything in your film. The onus is really on you. So when does FilmHub really make sense for you? So only if you've finished your film, you're ready to get it out there, you've done your festival run, you've got nowhere else that you need to hold the film back from, you're happy for it to appear on multiple platforms without any restrictions, unless you go for a FilmHub paid package, which we'll talk about in a minute, where you can restrict the territories that your film gets delivered to, and you're interested in a long-term film distribution strategy. So this isn't, I'm going to sell my film to all these territories, make my money up front and then leave it, and it's going to be out there on these fixed term contracts for 7 or 10 years. This is kind of the reverse of that. This is, it may take me longer to get the money, but potentially you would see more coming back to you and be in control of your own marketing and your own release strategy. So based on my conversations with indie filmmakers, I'd say an average indie film could make around $5,000 on FilmHub. Some go on to make between 5 and 20, and then there are the odd occasional one that make 20 to 100, and that would really depend on the particular niche of the genre that the person's chosen within their film, how the market's behaving, what people are into and what they're excited about, and the audience you've already got interested in your feature. So these platforms pay in different ways. So if I go through each of these, AVOD. So essentially what this is the Tubi model. This is users watch your film for free, but they get served adverts throughout the film, and Tubi pays FilmHub per hour watched. And this can be anything from 1 cent to 5 cents. And I'm told this is where most of FilmHub's revenue comes from. This is where things like Tubi, Facebook groups come in really handy, because essentially you're trying to get as many eyes on your film as possible. And it's quite a good offer for the audience because they're not having to pay for your film. All they're doing is getting told about it and then heading to the platform to watch it. Tubi's much bigger in America, and hopefully that's going to grow in the UK as more people become accustomed to it. But at the moment, I think it's very much an American audience you'd be targeting at. Then you've got TVOD, which is kind of a transactional element. So somebody would be either purchasing or renting your movie. The prices from this can range, and some platforms you can set this. But through FilmHub, this will be set by the platform. So this will be like $2.99 for a rental, $4.99 to buy the film. The platform then will take a cut. So Amazon or Apple TV would take a cut from that. Then what's left, FilmHub would take their 20% and you'd get the rest. Typically, I would say this is a good system if you've got a massive existing audience. So if you know day one of release, you're going to get so many people to Amazon to purchase or rent the film, then you're going to make a lot more in that space. But if you don't have that huge audience, then I wouldn't imagine you'd make a lot out of this element on FilmHub. And then finally, SVOD. So this will be the subscription-based streaming services. This works well if you're in a particular niche and you've got a niche streaming platform that's going to give you revenue. What I would say is to check out the conversation I had with Chad Whitman from FilmHub, because FilmHub has now got its own subscription-based platform called Relay. So listen to that, see if that fits for you. That's a growing space. There's potentially money to be earned from that. But at the moment, I think AVOD's best, TVOD second, SVOD third. So now I'm going to talk about earnings. So which films earn the most on FilmHub? And this is based on conversations, over 100 conversations with filmmakers I've had so far on the podcast. These are my insights. So I'd say the lowest earnings come from films with a weak poster, weak tagline, they don't really have an audience and they haven't connected with an audience. If you don't do that metadata, if your genre isn't very clear, and it's not easy to know what you are, it's harder for people to find you, which means you won't make any money. So then you've got the next level, which I'd say is the solid earners. You've got a clear genre, you've got some good artwork, good trailer, and you're also being picked up by some AVOD platforms as well. This would see you earn up to 5K over a 12 to 36 month period. Next up would be the strong performers, and this would be an indie filmmaker that can make between $5,000 and $20,000. This would be based on an existing audience, very clear genre, very good artwork and trailer, a good completion rate, so that means whoever's watching it has watched the entire film or at least the majority of it, placement on all of the AVOD channels, and also potentially some external marketing, whether that be working with a PR agent or doing a lot of marketing themselves. Finally, the 20K to 100K films that earn that money back are ones that have got a super strong genre, an engaged audience, all of the previous ones and more. And they've really done a push on marketing, and they've definitely got a PR agent involved who's pushing the film out there, getting them on all the review sites, getting them under everyone's noses so they know the film exists. And they're also continuing to promote so they keep those revenues coming in. I'd say something to think about when you're deciding if you should go down the FilmHub route or go down the traditional sales agent distributor route is to think about your budget. How much do you need to earn back? Well, if your film was made for less than 20,000, I'd say potentially FilmHub is a good place for you, but you must be prepared to wait for that money to come in, and you've got to do a lot of self-promotion to get that cash back. The advantage of going direct to a sales agent or distributor is that you could potentially see some of that money come in earlier, but they're going to expect higher production values in order for them to get higher MGs, higher money in when they're selling that film internationally. So over and above the film being good, there are certain factors that will help you earn more money on FilmHub. And these are my top 5. So number 1 is your poster art. It's really important that this is punchy, gets people clicking on it. Where we live in a thumbnail-based society now, so you want to get as much information as possible over in that poster so people know what it is they're watching, what it is they're buying, and they get what they ask for. Genre clarity, so somebody knows exactly what genre it is that they're renting. They know it's a horror, they know it's a thriller. Runtime, somewhere between 70 to 90 minutes seems to perform well. The opening 5 minutes is super important because you want to get them into the film and you want to get them watching those ads. So you've got to make sure that opening 5 minutes is dynamite. Finally, metadata clarity. So this is the metadata you put into FilmHub. This is the SEO you do on the film. These are the words that are associated with your project that will bring people to it. I'd say some of the most successful filmmakers I've spoken to have really seen FilmHub for its long-term benefits and also the amount of projects they make. So they're making 2 or 3 films a year, some more, that they're getting up onto FilmHub. They're really thinking early about what they're making with the platform in mind. So they're making them for a Tubi audience, or they're thinking, FilmHub, this is going to get picked up by lots of different platforms because it fits this certain type. There are some filmmakers out there who've got 20 films on FilmHub, and obviously that gives them lots of different projects to promote, and it means that they constantly getting this flow of revenue in while they're making more feature films. So summing up FilmHub, I think it's a great option for indie filmmakers, especially if you're working on a micro budget. I think you need to be thinking about FilmHub very early on, even when you're writing the script, so you know that you're making the right thing for that platform. Also, it can be quite a good platform if you've been down the sales agent distributor route and you've not got offered the deal you want, then you know FilmHub's there, you can package your own film and you can put it out there and release it yourself. The only caveat to that would be that you must be prepared to do your own marketing. So you're not going to get any hand from anyone promoting this film. You've got to do all of that yourself, but it does really empower you to market the film how you want to get it marketed. And I direct you to another video I've made about things you need to do before you put your film on FilmHub, because that will really help kickstart those views on that platform. So I did say I was going to talk about FilmHub's paid plan. So this comes with some extras. There's no fees when you use FilmHub, but if you do decide to pay for the plan, then you'll get faster access to support. So you get somebody coming back to you a lot quicker with answers if there's any issues. Your films get reviewed a lot quicker. So if you've submitted them and you're worried that it's not going to pass, or you want to get an answer straight away as to whether it's going to pass, you'll find out sooner. You'll also get control over geo-locking territories or platforms, so you can say, right, I don't want it on Amazon, or I don't want it released in Argentina, for example. You'll also get the ability to set your release schedule. So this is a difficult thing about FilmHub. I say it's one of the downsides. If you're not on that paid plan, you can't control when the film comes out. So as soon as you've uploaded it, it's really, you're at the mercy of the platforms as to when your release date is. So again, refer to that 5 things you do before you put your film on FilmHub. There are some strategies in that video as to how you can handle your release and be prepared when it drops. But if you have the paid plan, then obviously you've got control over that release date, which can kind of help drive your marketing. The paid plan has recently changed on FilmHub, and what they've done is they've kind of restricted some of the statistics that you get on the free plan and opened up more on the paid plan. So that is the downside of the free plan, is you can't really see the minutiae of those statistics and how your film's performing. You essentially just get an amount per platform of the top 5 earners, and then you can see how much per month you're making. Whereas on that paid plan, you get a lot more detail. Thanks for watching. If you've got any insights yourself about FilmHub, I'd love to hear them. Put them in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next one.